Hello, I'm Roszkowska-Menkes, Assistant Professor of Corporate Governance at USE Louvain. My work focuses on a question that affects every one of us. When companies say they are sustainable, can we trust them? Today's sustainability is full of big promises, inspiring vision statements, and glossy reports. But the real-world progress often tells a different story. In my research, I study sustainability decoupling, a gap between what companies say in their sustainability reports and what they actually do in practice. And this gap is not just a technical detail. Imagine that you want to invest your savings in a company that is truly committed to sustainability. Where do you look for information? In the sustainability report. But if the company overstates its achievements, your money is misallocated. And if that happens to thousands of investors with similar intentions, capital flows to companies that only pretend to be sustainable, while genuinely responsible companies struggle to compete for resources. That is the true cost of decoupling. It affects investor decisions, social and climate progress, and ultimately the future that we build together. So what does sustainability decoupling look like in practice? One common symptom is selective disclosure, omitting negative information while sharing a lot of positive results to distract attention from real issues. For example, a company facing a corruption scandal may not mention it at all in the sustainability report, but instead disclose number of employees trained in anti-corruption policies last year. Technically true, but incomplete. Other symptoms are more subtle. For instance, managers may use rhetorics to create impressions of leadership or success even when results are weak. In our research, we detect these language patterns using computer-assisted text analysis. Detecting decoupling is one thing. The key question, however, is how can we ensure that sustainability reports reflect reality and not just good storytelling? That's where corporate governance becomes crucial. Corporate governance refers to who holds power in the company, how decisions are made, and how leaders are held accountable. In my research, I examine governance mechanisms at 3 levels. Individual level, who is in charge? CEOs differ in personality, values, and cognitive style, which all may influence genuine engagement in sustainability. Organizational level, how power is structured. Here, I explore incentive systems, board structures, and investor oversight as determinants of a firm's ability to turn promises into actions. And finally, institutional level, the rule of the game. I study how national culture, social norms, and mandatory regulations like the EU Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive shape sustainability behavior. We know many tools, governance tools, that can reduce decoupling. However, we don't really know how they work together. That is why my current projects use multi-level perspective, integrating individual, organizational, and institutional views. Closing the gap between what companies say and what they do is not easy, and there is no single solution. But by understanding how governance mechanisms interact, we can support companies genuinely trying to improve and help stakeholders navigate sustainability information with more clarity.